Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show, of course, reaching you live from the cold city of Enugu, Nigeria. It's been a packed show, but in the midst of all of the controversies, enforcements, and of course, protests, we have to look at the international days being commemorated nationwide, worldwide, globally, however you want to put it. Today is World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day 2026. And of course, the theme this year is Unite, Act, Eliminate NTDs towards the achievement of the UHC SDGs. So we have guests that are going to be discussing this and, of course, telling us how we can be more aware of this and what we can do in the events that we know someone suffering from this. We have Dr. Martin Njoku, Senior Program Manager at RedAid Nigeria, and, of course, Mr. Michael Odama, Program Officer at RedAid Nigeria. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Good morning, guys, and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so Odama. Good to have you again. Now this is our 3rd anniversary. You agree?
Keep counting.
Exactly. If we keep counting, we'll still have a 4th one. So could you walk us through the theme, Dr. Njoku? Tell us what this is all about. Neglected tropical diseases. What is that?
Thank you very much. I didn't get your name though.
Natalie.
Oh, all right.
So you can call me Nemdi. Nemdi is my middle name, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, I will start with Neglected Tropical Diseases Day. Today, the world celebrates neglected tropical disease. It's a day set aside globally to spotlight diseases that affect mainly the poorest of the poor in our communities. In Nigeria, millions of people are affected by neglected tropical diseases, especially children and women in rural areas. And this perpetuates the cycle of poverty, disability, and stigma. So this day, the World NTDs Day for short, is a very important day for us. It's a day for awareness creation, it's a day for action, and it's a day for accountability. The theme for today's World Neglected Tropical Disease Day is very powerful because it reminds us that eliminating neglected tropical diseases is not just a health goal. It is very central to achieving universal health coverage. That's what UHC means. And then the Sustainable Development Goals. So Unite is calling on people to unite. Government, communities, donors, persons affected, and of course the media. Yes, unite to act. And what are the actions? We have to move from awareness to concrete actions. And these actions include early diagnosis, management, and community engagement. And when we talk about eliminate reminds us that these diseases can actually be eliminated. Some countries have done it. And I believe with enough commitment and equity, Nigeria can also do it.
Okay, that been established. Also, let's also establish which diseases are called neglected tropical diseases. Can you outline these diseases for us, and also the common, how common are they in Nigeria?
All right, neglected tropical diseases are a diverse group of diseases, about over 20 of them. They include infections, infestations, and even effect of toxins. Bacterial infections like leprosy and brucellosis have fungal infections like what we call mycetoma, and another one we call, has a very long name, chromoblastomycosis. They have viral infections like the rabies you hear about, dengue. And you have parasitic infestation with protozoa. We have the ones we call leishmaniasis, and then the African sleeping sickness that you hear about that we attribute to tsetse fly. We have infestation with worms, so it's quite diverse. Infestation with microfilaria, the one that causes, the one we call onchocerciasis, that causes river blindness, and then lymphatic filariasis that can actually lead to what we call elephantiasis and spiritual leading myself.
All right, Mr. Odama, let's come to you now and talk about RedAid and what it's doing. Of course, the media, let me smile like you, the media. I wanted to ask you why you smiled when you said media like that. Mr. Odama, what is RedAid doing in the fight against the stigma concerning leprosy and, of course, neglected tropical diseases? Tell us about your journey and how RedAid has influenced this journey.
Thank you very much. Like you said, this is my third time being here.
The third anniversary.
It's almost time that we start celebrating it. So RedAid Nigeria, over the years, before I even get to know them, have actually done a lot for neglected tropical diseases. Before I came into RedAid Nigeria, I can remember one thing I do was to hide myself. And what is the reason of me hiding myself is because of stigma. And it's not because these persons who stigmatize us are actually bad people or they are doing it purposely. It's because of the fear of what they don't know. Now, RedAid Nigeria came and picked me up from my hiding place, brought me out, not just to RedAid Nigeria, but they took me to a group where I get to meet other persons affected who are even in a worse situation than myself. Just being with them alone elevated my own sense of belonging. Now, coming to the office, I began to walk around other places where we cover, other states, and I discovered that there are many people out there who are persons affected, who needs help. And over the years, they have been trying their best to help them, doing one or two, given their capacity and their finances. Now, what they have done in my own life is something remarkable that in my entire life I'm never going to forget, because here I am. Every year I'll come here and tell the world that I am so happy that RedAid Nigeria finds me. And they were able to do so because they had the resources. Now, if the resources are not longer there, it therefore means many people are still going to suffer. There are not much organizations out there who are doing the same thing like RedAid Nigeria. So RedAid Nigeria have really done a lot. Thank you.
So what about Buruli ulcer and the impact of course, RedAid on that cause?
Buruli ulcer, RedAid Nigeria have really done a lot. They not only diagnose, they not only find these cases, but they manage, given their capacity. They also treat the bacteria, they manage the complication as well, which is something. The complication is actually the reason for stigmatization, because the bacteria is something that you can cure and nobody will know that you have this bacteria. But the complication leaves a physical damage that people will look at it and be scared, and because of the misinformation that people already have about these diseases. So it scares them more.
Right. So I want to know about your journey. You've said this before. This is the third anniversary of the story. How you got to know that you were suffering from this condition at the time. Walk us through that experience and, what you experienced before you joined RedAid.
Okay. Honestly, at first, I never knew what was happening to me. It started all in 2007. Then I noticed a patch on my skin. It was like a birthmark, but it keeps growing without itching or pain. So when something is not itching, it's not causing you pain, and it's not going. You don't have to worry about it. So I didn't worry until 2016, around October. I started having some weird feelings, like hypersensitivity or like shocking sensation. So it became a concern at that moment. At first, given our economy, most of the time we do visit the chemists and the herbal places for solutions before actually going to where we can get the real solution to our problems, which is what I did as well. So in 2017, that's 1st January rather, after the new year, on the 4th, I went to the leprosy hospital. Fortunately enough for me, the doctor that diagnosed me is sitting right beside me.
Oh, Dr. Njoku.
Yeah,
Good looking out.
He just told me by just looking at it and said, this is leprosy. It still did not ring any bell to me. So what struck me was that I was going to take this medication for 12 months. 12 months seems like 12 years to me. But I did. I took the medication. So After 1 year, I was confirmed to be free of leprosy.
How did you contract it? How does it connect to our discussion today?
Yeah, leprosy bacteria is something that you can get it anywhere, mostly in rural areas. I can't say how because it's airborne. If you are with somebody who have leprosy and have not started treatment, there's a possibility that you can get it by just breathing in if the person
Droplets,
coughs or
okay.
sneezes out droplets.
All right, Dr. Njoku, Buruli ulcer. I want you to walk us through that and, how you were able to speedily diagnose Mr. Odama at the time that he approached you.
Okay, I will really start from diagnosing him. It's not, I worked as a clinician in a hospital that is a referral hospital for TB, leprosy, and Buruli ulcer. So for many years, I was the one treating and even doing surgeries for BU patients. It's one thing is not difficult to diagnose leprosy. Before you have the deformities, it's usually present like a light skin patch that is not painful. And when you test, you realize that that area is lacking sensation. If you use cotton wool and touch the place, the person might not know that you've touched the person. That's all it takes. And then if you palpate what we call the nerves, you see that there are nerve enlargement, which will explain what he said about the shocking sensation. So it wasn't difficult to really see the patch, test for sensation, and see that this is. And then when he came, to be honest, he didn't have all these deformities. That's one thing with leprosy. Managing it can be tricky, especially when the person has what we call leprosy reactions, which can complicate things. So that's for diagnosing him. It wasn't difficult. But for Buruli ulcer is not a very common, it's not widely known like leprosy. It has many names. Some people call it Achire. I'm sure you must have heard of Achire. You go to Anambra State, you hear of Achire. You hear of a Nure. There are so many names. But all it means is that this wound that doesn't go. That's just what it means. This chronic wound that appears spontaneously and doesn't go. So Buruli ulcer is a devastating skin and soft tissue infection caused by a bacterium called Mycobacterium ulcerans. It is related to the ones that cause tuberculosis and leprosy. They are also called Mycobacterium tuberculosis and Mycobacterium leprae. Now, the funny thing about Buruli ulcer is that the exact mode of transmission, we know that TB and leprosy are gotten when people who have it, untreated people sneeze, cough, they release the bacilli. It's not so with Buruli ulcer. All we know for sure for now is that it is seen mostly around water bodies. So people who farm and people who live near water bodies, rivers, lakes, ponds are actually at risk of having
Buruli ulcer.
Yes.
How is it treated?
Oh, you want me to jump to that?
Yes.
Yeah, jump.
But we have to diagnose it first. Diagnosis is usually in the hospital. But for us to treat it, we have to confirm that the person has Buruli ulcer. First of all, it can present in many forms. It can present like a nodule, a boil. It can present like a plaque, which is a flat surface. But you will notice that something is wrong. That place may feel harder than the rest of the body, and there may be no pain. Can also present as edema. Edema is when a part of the body is swollen. All these three forms, they are usually not painful.
Does it peel?
And it's not really associated with peeling.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't say that peeling is one of the characteristics. It can also present as ulcers. In fact, many of them present as ulcers, which is just what we know as wound.
Right.
And this wound can be of any size.
So what are your biggest challenges in doing your work?
Well, my biggest challenge is actually stigma. Yes, stigma is our biggest challenge. And then, of course, people stigmatize what they don't understand. And then, of course, there are so many myths out there who say you have Buruli ulcer, you don't go to hospital. If you take injections, you're going to die. So those are the challenges.
Who is saying that? Who says things
People
like
in the community. Where we piloted, I was part of the group that piloted the Buruli ulcer program project in Nigeria to prove that we actually have Buruli ulcer. I worked in Cross River. We had to go to native doctors' places, pay them to bring out children with a lot of deformities and go and treat them. So it was a very big hurdle asking them to let go of the patient. So people say, don't give me injection. If you give me injection, I'm going to die. But we treated so many of them, and then they came to believe that.
some people watching this now are hearing us say the word rural a lot. We're saying a lot of rural and close to water bodies. So they're like, this is not my problem. Oh. This is not my problem. This is for the ruralites. How common are these NTDs? Why should it impact the person that is living in, say, whose address should I use now? High cloud location. Which one? Who should I pick on? Let me borrow Ndume's Ikoyi and Lekki, for instance, and maybe Enugu Independence Layout and where else? GRA, Government Reserved Area. Why should they be worried about this while eating breakfast? What's their concern?
All right. Neglected tropical disease, like I said, it's more than 21. It's not just, but if we are talking about Buruli ulcer, you don't stay in that environment every day. You get to travel. You have people who live there, unless you're not concerned about people who live. So it's a global community. So you should be concerned. Everybody should be concerned.
Concerned for myself or concerned for others?
Concerned for others and concerned for yourself as well. You're not, but who worries about if you don't have a lifestyle that can actually expose you to HIV? You still are bothered.
Let's talk about how this can trickle down to the GRA residents, right? In terms of transmission, can neglected tropical diseases be transmitted through food? Perhaps you buy street food from someone who stays in a waterine area or riverine area. Can it be transmitted from there? How can it go up the value chain and affect the person who is an urbanite?
There are many tropical diseases, neglected tropical diseases that can actually do that. If you like, hookworms are neglected tropical diseases. A dog biting somebody, a dog can move from rural area to the urban to bite somebody and give the person rabies. Many types of worms, many types of neglected tropical disease. I was just talking about BU. Buruli ulcer is the one that is found in riverine areas. So there are many of them that are outside the riverine area. So anybody who is living in Nigeria, in fact, the statistics is that 100 million Nigerians are at risk of one form of neglected tropical disease or the other.
Okay, what concrete commitment is RedAid, also the government is doing this year to meet the Unite, Act, Eliminate call?
Sorry, say that again.
What concrete commitment is RedAid, the government, other institutions, fighting these NTDs, regarding to the theme of this year, Unite, Act, Eliminate, that call?
All right. If you go to many radio stations and TV stations today, similar things are happening. And I'm sure government is trying to generate funds to actually push into the NTDs program. As for RedAid Nigeria, we have been doing a lot of things and will continue to do a lot of things. We support the national program in fighting against neglected tropical diseases in 13 states. 5 of them are in Southeast, 6 are in South-South. Then we have 2 in the North. And we support what we call active case finding. We have more than 45 local government active case finding teams that go out to the community, create awareness about this, see people who have suspicious lesions, examine them, collect samples, remove the samples for diagnosis all across Nigeria. So for Buruli ulcer, for instance, the mainstay of diagnosis is what we call polymerase chain reaction.
You speak a lot about Buruli ulcer. Is that the most common NTD?
It is not the most common NTD.
What's the most common?
I wouldn't say in our environment. Where in fact, let me say, the reason I talk about Buruli ulcer a lot is that it's our mandate, RedAid Nigeria.
Or is it because, as you stated, so people ignore that, calling it a shere, as you stated, right?
No, well,
You need to sensitize people on
many
it.
ILF partners. Each of them have a group of entities that they actually
Oh,
take care of.
okay.
For RedAid Nigeria, is leprosy.
And
And
Bruli.
Buruli ulcer. So why? What informed the selection of leprosy and Buruli ulcer? What made that the mandate?
Okay, let me say that we used to answer German Leprosy and TB Relief Association. From the name leprosy, at least that's number one. Number two is that the diseases have the causative organisms come from one family.
Right.
Yes, the mycobacterium family. And the treatment is similar. In fact, the same medicine that we used to treat, some of the medicines we used to treat leprosy, the same medicine we used to treat
Buruli
ulcer.
Okay.
Yes.
And it appears that it has something to do with the skin patch. So let's continue, Mr. Odama.
Yeah.
You are a lived survivor, lived success, living experience of everything that we are discussing today, because you experienced the shock, the stigma, the disappointment from the communities, perhaps at a time before you found RedAid, how they were treating you, and the fact that you were not privy to information that you needed to really know what was going on at the time before you got hypersensitive. What were your expectations at the time from the communities and the individuals around you? What could they have done differently to help you diagnose it sooner, or perhaps make you live a better, wholesome life?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. My expectation was that to come across someone who actually knows what's wrong with me and tell me this is where you are going to get solutions to this. But my expectation was not met because, just like we were saying, the awareness is not like it's supposed to be now. Many people still don't know about it. I came across many doctors, many people who saw the patch, and oftentimes they were like, "What's this?" And I don't know. And sometimes people don't even talk about it. So imagine that somebody like Dr. Njoku, who was experienced by just looking at the patch, he confirmed that this is leprosy. Many of them are out there who can see it and say, oh, this is leprosy. Go here, you are going to get treatment. People will be diagnosed early enough and treated, and the complications and deformity, disability they have wouldn't be there. So my expectation was that people should have known that this is what is wrong with me. You know, I lived close to a leprosy referral hospital, yet people still don't really know about leprosy. They just know that leprosy is a disease. Sometimes.
And walking in there alone comes with its own concerns, especially in a community that stigmatizes or say, oh, he's going in there, that means he's going to treat this condition. I mean, walk us through that.
You know, that referral hospital wasn't treating only leprosy. They treat TB, leprosy, Buruli ulcer, and also they are now in general health actually. So going there is not just because you have leprosy or TB, but oftentimes people believe that if you go to that section of the hospital, it's either you have TB or you have leprosy.
Do you still experience stigmas?
Yes, I still do experience stigma. But before people get to know that I suffered from leprosy, I have to tell you, it's not only leprosy that causes deformity. Sometimes accidents, sometimes other diseases like Buruli ulcer can cause it. But if given my state, if I don't tell you now that I'm a person affected by leprosy, you wouldn't have cause to, stigmatize me.
Final question to you now, Dr. Njoku. What is your word to people as we commemorate this World Neglected Tropical Diseases Day? What should people do to mark this event yearly? And, how can we be a part of this commemoration? Because from this entire conversation, from what you and Mr. Odama have said, stigma is driven by ignorance. If people know, then they will not stigmatize. So when you stigmatize, you're actually exposing how ignorant you are, and you're willing to make someone's life uncomfortable because you don't understand, right? It's almost like fear of the unknown. So what should people do today, and what should they do every other day? Because not just to remember, oh, I don't stigmatize on that day. Then tomorrow you wake up and you start saying, he entered that referral center. So what should we do? What should we do? How can we be a part of this big picture?
You have said it all. So I was waiting for you to finish so that I will say exactly that. That's what they should do. They should stop stigmatizing. Because but it's good to be afraid. But finding out information will make you to stop stigmatizing. Knowing that leprosy is not very contagious, you would have to be exposed for a very long time. And even then, only 5% of people who inhale the bacilli gets to have the disease. The others, your immune system takes care of it. So for the individuals in the community, they should stop stigmatizing so that people who actually feel they have leprosy can come out when they feel the first sign of leprosy.
All right.
For the media, I please beg you to
You didn't
not...
smile when you said media. Normally, when you said the media, you always smile.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do just that. Thank you so much, Dr.
right.
Njoku and Mr. Odama, for coming and sharing your own stories. And of course, we are proud of you and we are deeply motivated. Go out there, get diagnosed, get your problem solved, and move on and become some kind of inspiration for other people as well. Thank you once again. And it's great to see you healthy and doing well.
Thank you very much.
The morning show has come to an end. On behalf of the entire production team of the show, of course, this whole week, this is saying thank you for watching. See you again Monday. Of course, the weekend show crew would be here tomorrow at 8 a.m. So you need not look further than Afia TV. I remain your host, Nathalie Uku.
Oji Nwachuku. Have a blessed Friday and a weekend ahead. Bye for now.